I'm Alexa of This Alexa Knits, and welcome to Talk Knitty To Me, a knitting podcast. My setup may look a little bit different. I'm sitting in a slightly different spot than I was in the last video and in my previous videos. Hopefully it works out well. I've done it so that I can use my desk as a surface to keep track of everything, so let me know how you feel about it. First things first, I ran a giveaway in my last video. It's part of a series of giveaways I'm going to be doing on this channel as I de-stash. I have some great yarn in my stash. There's just not anything that I'm dying to knit with it, so I figured I would pass it on to a good home. So if you're interested in hearing who won the last giveaway and what yarn is up for grabs in this video, make sure you stay till the end. Now I'm going to jump right in with whips. The first whip was the subject of my last video, so I'm going to be short and sweet with it. It is what I'm calling my Champagne Cardigan 2.0. So here it is, in all its glory. One sleeve down, bottom down. I'll show you the back where you can see all the pretty colors. Now you may notice there's a fair bit of pooling in this sweater. That's because each hank is slightly different. I was expecting the pooling. I'm not surprised by it. I can't be bothered to alternate skeins or all the goodness that you're supposed to do when you are using a yarn that pools, so I'm just living with it. The way that I tried to mitigate some of that so that I didn't end up with the body being one color, the sleeve being one color, and the other sleeve being another color, is making sure that the pooling was symmetrical. After I split for sleeves, when I knew pooling would start to be an issue, I would use half the cake on the body section. Then I would break the yarn, work about 25 rounds on one sleeve, break the yarn, work about 25 rounds on the other sleeve, and whatever was left went right back into the body. I did that for about 3 hanks of yarn, and then I finished the body and one sleeve, and so now all I have left is to make that matching pattern on the next sleeve. I think it has been working out pretty well, at least on the sleeve that I have finished. It looks like the pooling is matching, so I think my plan is working out well. I have no complaints about the yarn. It is, let me tell you what it is. It is Malabrigo Worsted in the color 139 Potion. Really, really pretty reds, greens, blues. The yarn is a 100% merino superwash single, meaning it's a single ply, and really no complaints. I'm a little bit worried about the pilling. We'll see if that happens as I wear it, but so far, loving the yarn. It's so soft, no complaints. I am knitting the size large, or the 4th size in the pattern. I have a bust measurement of about 44 inches, which means that in a petite knit pattern, I would normally fall into the 2XL category. Because this pattern has so much positive ease built into it, I decided to size down so that I would have less positive ease. Again, I talked more about that in the last video that I uploaded, all about my Champagne Cardigan. I followed the pattern exactly. It is knit on 4.5 millimeter needles, except for the button band, which is knit on 3 millimeter needles. I think I'll be sizing up for that because the button band requires that you match row gauge to the sweater. So I measured the row gauge on my sweater, and I'll be knitting a swatch just to make sure that I'm getting the right row gauge on the button band, because it is done in double knitting. So I probably will end up changing from a 3 millimeter needle to maybe a 3.5 millimeter needle, but I'll keep you updated once I've gotten to that point. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Champagne Cardigan, since it was the subject of a lengthy video last time, so I'll go ahead and put that one away for right now. Now my next whip is a pair of mitts. I live in Miami, which is a very, very warm climate, so I don't have a huge need for knit accessories. But every spring, my school takes our students on overnight trips, and this year, the 3 trips that have been offered, Northern California, Montana, and Iceland, all take place in cold places. Since I can reasonably expect that I'll be chaperoning one of these trips, I decided to take advantage and make some knit accessories. So the first one I have to show you It's not finished yet. I still have to do the thumb. But there is my traveling cable mitt, fingerless mitt by Pearl Soho. It is a free pattern available on their website. And yes, I know I made some mistakes. They are glaringly obvious, but they don't bother me enough to go back and redo them. So I think I may just live with them and learn from my mistakes on the next one. I am knitting this in Knit Picks Andean Treasure, which is 100% baby alpaca. So soft. In the color Dogwood Heather. Now these are knit on 3.5 millimeter double pointed needles. I could have done magic loop, but I had the double pointed needles and I thought maybe with cabling those would be easier, but I think they were probably just more fiddly than they needed to be. The second one I may do on magic loop, maybe, because I think that would be easier to handle. It did get a little fiddly, particularly before I split the thumb stitches. So when I was making the gusset, you can see there's a series of increases and it kind of overloaded one of my DPNs, but overall, super easy pattern to follow. I love the result. I did print out the pattern from the website so that I could keep track of my rows, particularly for the cables, just to make it easier on myself to follow along. I normally use the Knit Companion app, which I think is super easy because I can keep track of my rows, my stitches. It's all highlighted for me. But because this was free from their website and there wasn't really a way for me to upload it into Knit Companion, I decided to just print it out. So very easy to follow. Highly recommend this pattern. And the yarn, it's so soft. Let me show you. So here it is. Andean Treasure, sport weight, 100% baby alpaca in this really pretty color. So soft. If you have an opportunity to knit with this yarn, do it. It is so soft. Anything that's gonna be near your face, a cowl in this, oh my God, would be so nice. That's it for whips. I know, I have so few whips this time compared to other times, but that's all I got. Next up are gonna be finished objects. I have one finished object to show you, and that is the Oslo hat. This Oslo hat is quite a bit larger than I was expecting it to be. Let me show you what I mean. Look at all of that. There's so, why is there so much fabric? It's so big. Anyway, hopefully it just looks cute and slouchy, but I don't know if I'm pulling this off, guys. I've thought about adding like a pom-pom in the back to kind of emphasize the slouch, but apparently I knit this way too big. The first time I made an Oslo hat, I made the mohair edition, and it turned out tiny. Can you tell how small that is? Tiny. Let me put it on for reference. It's so tight, guys. It's so tight. Yeah. See how it's all stretched? It's because it's so tight. Now I knit this one out of Fuzzy Peach fibers. They're fingering and mohair held together. This colorway, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's discontinued anyway. So yeah, this one came out super small. So this time, because my head circumference is about 22.5, 23 inches, I decided to knit the size large, because according to the pattern, that should be the size that I need. And somehow it ended up enormous. I mean, I'm gonna go with it because it's comfy and it's gonna keep my head warm wherever I end up going. But yeah, it's comical. It's like, what? Why is it so big? So anyway, I guess I probably should have gauge swatched, but it's a hat, so I didn't. But anyway, I really love the yarn. I'll hold it up close so you can see. This is Knit Picks palette in the color Mineral Heather. I'll show you really, really up close because there are, whoa, there are strands. Why are you not gonna zoom? There are strands, let me show you in the ball. That'll be easier. There we go. There are strands of blue, like a teal blue, strands of red, strands of a violet purple. It's so pretty. So like I said, Knit Picks palette in the color Mineral Heather. Knit Picks palette is a fingering weight 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and I held it double as per the Oslo hat pattern. I can't say I'm upset with the way the hat turned out, just that it's ginormous. Luckily, I bought yarn to make a second Oslo hat. I couldn't decide between two colors, so I decided to make two Oslo hats. So the second one is gonna be in this color, which is the color Tide Pool Heather. It is a mixture of greens and blues. You can see it up close. Yeah, really, really pretty. Really pretty color. So same yarn, I'm gonna do it all again, probably knit a size medium, and hopefully it all goes according to plan. Let's move on to knitting plans. I have two yarns in my stash that are alpaca. Well, one is a merino alpaca blend and one is 100% alpaca. And they are both very, very fine. I think they're both a lace weight, but the other one might be a light fingering. So anyway, I was wondering what to do with these. I like that they have a very similar fiber content. I think they would look great together because they're two shades of brown that I think would look really nice marled. And I was wondering what I should make. And I decided upon the Stockholm Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit. Here's my swatch. I think it looks nice. I haven't measured it yet, so I don't know if this needle size is gonna work for me. The pattern calls for 4.5mm needles, which I think might be a little large for the thickness even of these two yarns held together. So I have to measure it and see if that will work, but so far I like the fabric. It has, I feel like, a good amount of drape for a slip over, and I don't really need anything that's gonna be dense and warm anyway, because this is just the kind of thing that I would wear to work, throw on over a button down, that kind of thing. So I think I'm gonna move forward with it if my gauge is close enough. So look forward to that in an upcoming episode. I was also thinking of using this yarn. Sorry, I didn't even tell you what these two yarns are. Okay, so these two yarns are Isager Alpaca Merino 2, held together with Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud Lace. The Knit Picks yarn is in the color Jane, and the Alpaca Merino is in the color Medium Natural Brown. So this is the color combination that makes. I really love it. It's like just a very rich camel-y type color. A little bit darker than that, but I really like the color, the way it's worked up. So that's gonna be one Stockholm Slipover V-neck. I have plans to make another one out of this, which is Habu Textiles. I'm pretty sure it's the N68 linen wool roving. I got this in a cone that came as a kit, like with a pattern that it was intended for. So it wasn't labeled real well, and I don't actually know how many yards I have because it was in a cone. But basically, I divided up the cone into cakes because I want to hold it double. I don't have a swatch done yet, but keep an eye out for that. That will be coming. And I think that's all I have to talk about today, actually. So short podcast episode. I feel like we covered a lot, but I really didn't have that much knitting to show, which is odd for me. Actually, no, it's not. I feel like I say that all the time. All right, giveaway time. So last video, I was giving away this Collinette Parisienne in this beautiful fiery colorway. And the winner of the 7 beautiful skeins of this yarn is right here on the bottom of the screen. If that is you, please send me an email, thisalexaknits@gmail.com, with your shipping information so that I can go ahead and get that out to you as soon as possible. And congratulations! I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Happy knitting, and I'll see you in the next one.